Highlanders, they are 10-3-4 overall, 6-2-1 when it comes to this one. 9-4-4 for USC Upstate, 6-2-1 in conference play. They tied there, but here we go. The 2 versus 3. Who will head on to Sunday's championship against the Gardner-Webb Running Bulldogs, who came away with an upset earlier tonight against Campbell? They'll head it right in. Dara Russo, we talked about it right off the gate, getting a chance at it, but Russo, a very, very good player, as is Ashley Finn up there up front, and a lot of goals between the two of them. They can really seemingly score from either side of the box.
Well, and I think it's interesting, Finn last year was their goal scorer, and when Coach Saber came in, he talked to her about, hey, we want you to adjust. We need you to be a team player. You may not be the target all the time, but we want to see you really support others. And so I think we've seen her play as a false 9 for them. She's played in the midfield for them. So I think her up top with Russo will be very dangerous.
Coach Saber in his first season at USC Upstate, coming over from the Mount Olive in Division II. And of course, this season doing something that has never been done, a record year all around and on all accounts, I should say, for USC Upstate. And here they are as the 2 seed, something they've never done before. As that ball kicked well out of goal. And heading on down the other side of the field. We'll get the scoreboard fixed for you here in just a moment. But either way, just underway here on this Thursday evening. As we mentioned, winner on to the championship on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Now this one starting a little bit later than they expected, of course. A little bit longer in warm-ups, if you will, as the other game went a long, long way earlier on tonight.
And I think it's so interesting now. Radford's getting a little bit of possession, but one of the things that Coach Saber prides himself on is his team's fitness and just their mentality. And so they're going to come out hard, they're going to be physical, and they're going to work really on both sides of the ball. And here's Oliver now with an opportunity, a fantastic service in, but Paris just not able to get on the end of it. And you can see there were 3 players from Upstate in the box, ensuring the fact that that ball would run across without a Highlander getting on the end of it.
USC Upstate coming over from Spartanburg, wearing the home whites tonight, going left to right to start things out. Should say right to left, my apologies, to start things out. Meanwhile, Radford in the red tops and white shorts. As that one sent in towards the box, but a screamer goes up and over the net and out of play. 42 minutes left to go here in this first half. As you take a look at that shot there, going after our camera angle up there. So heads up to our cameraman, if you will, trying to make sure we keep him around for Sunday. Don't want to take him out, but at the same time, a nice little shot there to get things started out. Now, long goal kick. You see the way they set up. Both teams like to stack it in. They both play. They play the matchup game very well. That's one thing that jumped out to me watching film of both these teams is very good step for step with any of the opponents they've played thus far this year.
Well, and they're both flexible, right? We're going to see Radford in the 4-3-3. They could potentially adjust into a 4-4-2, 3-5-2. Once again, they're going to see how the match goes. But as we mentioned, Upstate really, up until about game time, they weren't sure about some players, and they sent us 2 lineups and said, we'll see how players are feeling and we can adjust from there. So, a lot of times a lineup change can really, tweak a team.
Sure.
But I think Coach Saber has really trained his team to be flexible and fluid, and so they're fine and they'll adapt as the game needs it to.
Alexis Kiernos, another one that is a name to be mentioned on the other side for Radford. 6 goals, 3 assists out of Woodbridge, Virginia. 2 game winners this season. 13 goals on her career, but 5 of those 13 have been game winners. So someone who scores late and comes up in the clutch for this Radford program.
Yeah, and she's tremendous for them in the midfield, really as that 10, trying to link with Paris or play that ball out wide.
That ball headed out of play there on the far side of the field, so we'll see a throw-in coming, or in fact, it should be a free kick. My apologies, the whistle blows. So a quick restart here for the Radford Highlanders. And man, working her way in already on that one is Kiernos.
And this should be a physical match from Upstate's standpoint, at least. They have 146 fouls on the year compared to actually 154 for Radford. So both teams fairly aggressive in fouls. In the previous match, we talked about how Campbell only averaged about 6.5 fouls a game. So
very disciplined team, and saw their season come to an end a little while ago, but credit to where it's due. Gardner-Webb hung in there for a vast majority of that game and, of course, advanced on in penalty kicks. 4-3 was the advantage in that. And just a special moment for that program for sure. Mike Varga getting back to the championship, where the last 2 times they were in the championship, they played this very Radford team who you mentioned earlier in the first broadcast. Radford, no stranger to a few Big South championships.
Well, it's interesting. They've been in the Big South tournament a number of times, but every single time, sans one time, if they've made it to the finals, they've won. So 7 out of 8 trips to the finals have resulted in some hardware.
So for you Highlanders fans out there, bodes well if they get up to the championship, especially playing Gardner-Webb, and it's nothing against Gardner-Webb, but history speaks to the fact that the Highlanders have taken them out a couple of times. So both teams still feeling each other out here the first 10 minutes.
And you'll see a good look. Cora Brendel, she's a player who is, if the ball's 10 yards into the opposing half, she'll come up and strike that ball. She's very clean with her feet. She plays with a high line, and so any free kick in the Upstate's half, she's going to take. Any free kick in the Highlanders' half, she's going to take within 10, 15 yards of the halfway line. So not afraid to play high or take those kicks.
As you mentioned, 33 games, 197 saves. As Kat Paris working her way in, tries to square it up, but just can't get it. Looked like she was looking the way of Lily Short, but just didn't get quite the strike she wanted behind it. And it finds its way back out here, controlled out at the midfield by Kayla Edwards.
And Edwards is a player who's just returning to the lineup in this match. She didn't play the last 3 games, so it'll be interesting to see how she adjusts to getting back in the lineup here.
And Amy Swain sends it off of the Upstate defender, so we'll see our first corner kick of the night, as Kiernos looks like she will be the one to square it up and take it. And a shout out, you can hear the Radford faithful over on the other side making the trip, as they are trying to wheel their team on for a win here tonight.
It's interesting how Radford's going to put 6 players onto that goal line and put a player in front of the goalkeeper to obstruct them.
Caitlin O'Donnell, the only one at the top of the 18-yard box. And everybody in a white uniform shading in to help out their goalkeeper, Brendel. Little hook shot that time. Bouncing around out of play, and looks like we'll square it up, do it again. And hey, we're no stranger onto this field today anyway of watching corners go in, as that was the equalizer for Gardner-Webb. A sensational shot by Karina Leal, of course, led to the overtime play, and well, they are on into the championship as well, but another corner kick coming up. A little higher this time, sent towards the middle. Good header that time, as is Ashley Finn the one that gets up and pumps it out. And Ashley Finn, one of those ones that we talked to Coach Saber about. And, Ashley has been the player, kind of the go-to over the early part of her career. This year, though, asked her to take a little bit different role, and she's done that and then some.
Yeah, and she's a player who's going to play a ton of minutes for the Upstate Spartans. And like we said, we could see her drop into the midfield if she's not getting the ball enough and see those adjustments. But it'll be interesting. I always joke that our postseason is that time to try different things. And so, you've played in the conference. The opposing team's seen some of your set pieces. They've seen how you've acted on corner kicks and stuff like that. And so now is an opportunity to see if these teams try anything new or see what sort of chicanery comes up on these set pieces.
Brendel will go right side with it this time. Beautiful shot there of course, the beautiful field here at Mecklenburg County Sportsplex in Matthews, North Carolina, site of this year's 2022 Women's Soccer Championships for the Big South. And a great venue to watch a game in. Don't forget, if you get a chance, come on out to the championship, no matter who you're rooting for on Sunday afternoon. But it's been a fun atmosphere earlier today, and don't expect anything less here in the nightcap tonight. Good takeaway in the middle by Lily Short. She'll bring it up middle of the field. Looking to work it up. Kat Paris has a goalkeeper off her line. Touches it into the box. Chance for Paris. And a kick save and a beauty by Cora Brendel.
Just a fantastic effort there by Brendel. Paris was trying to cheat with that near post shot, but Brendel comes up big. And, once again, we talked about how she likes to play high up on her line, so you see her have to retreat a bit, but she's got that near post covered, and a brilliant save there by the goalkeeper of the year in the Big South.
And goalkeeper of the year for many, many reasons, and one of them right there for you. But she's going to have to hang tough here on another corner kick. Kierno sends it low and slow to the near side and taken away. Now trying for a counter back the other way.
And Sanders is just a dangerous wing back type of player. In this 3-5-2, she's playing in that 5 on the outside, but really just tremendous effort and engine for her. She is one of the kids that came from Mount Olive with Coach Saber, and she's just got such a fierce competitor's mentality.
And talking with him, he brought in 16 of the 17 newcomers to this program, and of course, that's paid off in spades for him as they come in 9-4-4, 6-2-1 in conference play. They locked up this number 2 seed. Best season in program history as that one sent all the way across the box and well out of play. But no secret about it. Radford looking for Kat Paris out of the gate, and then she is the one that will facilitate from that point on.
Yeah, and you mentioned the fact he brought 16 of the 17 players in. 4 were transfers, 13 were freshmen, and the only player that he hadn't recruited was Dara Russo. Hey, so a great gift was left for him there.
I say, man, is that panned out for sure, right? USC Upstate taking the number 2 seed over Radford with the head-to-head win earlier on this season. Exactly identical records, 6-2-1 in conference play, but one of those 6 wins for USC Upstate was the win over the Highlanders. 2-0 win against this Highlanders team for USC Upstate. Just the second all-time win in 12 tries, though, against Radford. And so Coach Saber has got this Spartans team working very, very well. And I think one thing that he said stood out to him was how quickly this team came together and how well they've played together and also been together on and off the field.
Well, and I think that's something, once again, we talk about, Jeff Gross was a first-year coach, inherited a tremendous team that had a very good culture, needed to just maybe make a couple of adjustments. But, Coach Saber came in, and the kids wanted to win. The kids who were there were eager for change. They committed physically to getting fit, getting stronger in the weight room. The things that you can control are your attitude and your fitness, and the team committed to that. He brought in a couple of fantastic transfer players who have really been tremendous for him, and so we've seen them really grow leaps and bounds this year.
Trying to get into Dara Russo there, gets kicked out of play, and of course it's because of what he's been able to do, and his coaching staff is why he's the 2022 Coach of the Year in the Big South in just his first season as a head coach in the Big South Conference. And nothing short of outstanding what he did at Mount Olive either, a team that and a program that struggled for so many years. He came in, took them to 2 NCAA appearances, a couple of conference championships as well. So a fantastic coach and a great guy. Great conversation with him earlier this week. And then you got Ben Sarabi on the other side. 27th season at the helm of a program. 282 career wins. No stranger to winning, that is for sure. Talked about those 7 tournament championships at the helm here at Radford. 5 regular season championships, and of course 4 Big South Coach of the Year nods. So he looks over at Coach Saber and says, hey, you got a couple more to catch up with.
Yeah, and just he's had such a tremendous career. We look at them coming in as that 3 seed. We mentioned the fact they had 52 goals last year, and 26 of those graduated. He also graduated the 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Kayla Thomas, in back, and he graduated his goalkeeper, Lauren Seedlock. So right now he's got, Jordan Phillips in goal, and this is her first season, and she's just been absolutely tremendous for them.
The lone Virginia team here in the house. And actually the lone team from not in the Carolinas in this Final Four of the Big South.
There's a good look there at Jordan Phillips, who's the sophomore. Once again, she did not play last year, but she's had 3 shutouts in the last 3 games.
5 overall this season. As you mentioned, didn't play last year. Started all 14 games she's played in. Now a chance to cross it in, trying to find Paris once more. Had a little bit too much hook back to the left there. Good strike though by Katie Oliver. And now a long distance shot as that one's going all the way through the middle and almost out of the stadium here in Matthews.
Brindle is such a tremendous shot stopper that once again, she concedes goals when it's a service in and scrum in the box and, having to move and adjust. But she's just a brilliant shot stopper that'll be interesting to see if they really keep continuing to look to shoot from distance or if they're going to look to try and work it around more and create a better opportunity.
3 shots for Radford, 1 for USC Upstate. Radford just 1 on goal. Radford, a very polished program for sure. A lot of players that have stayed all 4 years and, of course, have come here to play. Not a lot of transfers on their program. They do have some, but not many.
And they're going to look to knock the ball around, as we can see here right now. They like to, win the possession game if they can. And, I think they have a pretty style of play. You see here Oliver, the senior, who had a tremendous early career for them, but pulled down there, and then a little push in the back after the play. You just got to be mindful of. And
the card going to go against USC Upstate, and thumbs up there from number 6, Adriana Pepe. And that was one person that Coach told us, Coach Saber that is, that would not back down from a challenge, and well, she doesn't right there either.
Yeah, definitely a feisty player. Once again, she's one of the kids that is a transfer into this program, New Jersey kid, so she's got a little bit of attitude to her. I'm from Jersey, so I can say that.
A little I was going to say a little home cooking, right? As they'll stack everybody on the far side this time, a little bit shorter than a corner. They'll go far left 90, but well up and over. And Cora Brendel, good job to track that ball. Was just kind of tracking on back. Some Radford fans in the house tonight. Good contingency for both sides. And hey, credit's where it's due. We talked about this in the first game of it being a neutral site and the validity of, positives and negatives of neutral site compared to home sites and so on and so forth. But if you got a fan base that will travel, anywhere can be a home game for you. 28.5 left to play here in the first half. Each team still sizing each other up through these first 20 minutes, trying to find the edge. As both these teams, we talked about it, we came in with different formations, but realistically, those formations are bound to change throughout the game depending on what the situation allows for.
Yep, and Coach Sarabi said that the Big South games are always a little helter-skelter the first 15 minutes of play, so it's important for them to, settle the ball down. Can they knock the ball around and keep possession and find that rhythm?
And how about this? Brendel, Russo, and Saber, all the first in program history to earn the postseason honors that they did. And just, again, many more notches on the belt loops, if you will, for this program this season and what this team has done. And they have a very young core of players. Don't get me wrong, they have some really good older players that have come into this program, that have stayed with this program. But that being said, they have a lot of young returners coming back next year, as does Radford.
Well, and there were times this season where Upstate had 8 freshmen starting in addition to a couple of sophomores and juniors. So, they do have some senior leadership. Elena McKnight in the back line is one as well.
Yeah. As Helena Wilson fell on that one, thought that Ashley Finn was going to be able to make a play, but a good help on the defensive side of things. And now that ball run out of play. It'll be a throw in here for the Spartans. Throw-in just gets right by. Looked like they were trying to get it in there to Nia Bocelli, but long kick coming and out of play. Not really having to make a play on it was Jordan Phillips. Pretty good low liner there, but Phillips will have a goal kick coming. And actually looks like she'll give it up to her teammate there.
It's interesting she's letting Wilson take it. You can hear Upstate screaming first and second, as we mentioned, controlling that ball, winning not just that kick, but the ball off of it becomes very important.
Out of play it goes, and a throw in on the right side of the field if you are USC Upstate. Granted, left side if you're directionally looking at it, but Nice little takeaway there by Katie Oliver. Oliver showing off the speed early in this one. A couple of good taps back and forth, and now a chance to progress one down here for Radford. Ball gets all the way through. Brendel going to slide out and take care of business. And we talked about it in the first game and looking at it again here. Despite the temperature starting to drop a little bit, still in the lower 60s, but this field plays very, very fast. And I think something that some of these players aren't used to on their home fields.
Well, and it was an interest service in by Kiernes. Instead of playing that ball out wide, she kind of played it through the seam straight ahead. But once again, on a fast surface and with a goalkeeper that plays high off of her line, more often than that direct ball, that center seam, is going to roll into the keeper.
Ball kicked on down the field, all the way into Phillips. Oh, and some contact behind as two players went right into it. And upended there was Dara Russo. And slow to get up on that one, just kind of, I think it was Kayla Edwards she collided with, no, excuse me.
It was Lynch there, yeah. Lynch just was trying to shield her, and they just got tangled up, but it's a no call by our official.
That ball skied down towards midfield. Bouncing around here, Upstate trying to control it. And it will head back USC Upstate's way.
Once again, here's Brendel right at the half. She's willing to play that service in.
And Brendel all the way up to midfield. And hey, if you got a goalkeeper that has a leg and can get back in time, why not? Change the game a little bit. Under 24 to play here in the first half. Good thud to that one. All the way to the back. Ping-ponging around there in the box. Right foot, oh, and it's off the crossbar and comes out and goes across. Couldn't see who put a leg to that, but that was an absolute laser beam. Off the crossbar and out, and almost a goal, and man, in the blink of an eye, as you take a look at it here, ball just kind of trickled around, and that was who we talked about earlier in Ashley Finn, a proven goal scorer for USC Upstate, and almost putting him on the board here early, but instead the crossbar comes in the favor of Radford that time.
Well, and Radford's just got to get that ball out, right? There's 2-3 heads on it. They've got to clear that first time and get it out and away, because any little ball that's left in the box is going to be picked up by, the Upstate team that just grinds it out in the box.
Ashley Finn with 3 goals, McKnight with 3 on the season for USC Upstate. Dara Russo leads the way with 6. As that one ricochets off, and Cora Brendel able to control it with her feet. Shots even now here on the night. Still just the 1 shot on goal for the Radford Highlanders, and no shots on goal right now for USC Upstate. So just trying to see if they can't create a little havoc. Now the ball loose deep into their own territory. A chance here as a right foot comes, blocked away, and Phillips with a beautiful save to the left. Both goalkeepers have saved point-blank opportunities on the other side. Dara Russo not used to being stonewalled one-on-one with a keeper, but man, oh man, Phillips with a massive save there.
Well, and you can see Russo just holding her head. She's going to break free here, right? It's a mishit there off of the Highlanders, and she swoops in, and she's going to strike that. Kind of looked like she was hitting it with the outside of her foot, but just didn't get enough bend on it. And it looks like she might be a little upset. I think she's dealing with that. She had fallen earlier when she got tangled up with Lynch, and you can see the expression on her face. She's visibly upset, and I don't think it's necessarily about missing that as much as she might be having a bit of pain here as she's moving.
Upstate quickly into Radford territory again. Another strong right leg coming, but soaring well too high on that one. as it was Emily Sanders trying to put a strike to it, a Long Island native. As you mentioned, a transfer over from Mount Olive, came here with Coach Saber this season.
But that save by Jordan Phillips and the save earlier by Cora Brendel, that's fantastic effort by both of those goalkeepers, because what you want from your goalkeeper is you need them to be consistent, but then you also, if they can come up with maybe one big save a game, it can change the tide. And so the fact that both of these goalkeepers were able to come up big early on and keep it tied is tremendous.
Now Radford looking to progress it back the other direction. Amy Swain, good defense though on the other side by Katarina Bastos. Bastos pretty much taking away a break all on her own. And now the right leg comes. Brendel able to get up, and an off-balance kick that time, but a great try at it by Kiernos, showing the power even falling away.
And it'll be interesting because Brendel plays so high. It'll be interesting to see. We see Kiernos is trying to do this, but at this point, Brendel's already retreated back to her 6. What I'm looking for is, can they, as they're racing to the goal, you know, they know Brendel's up high, can they pick up their head and try and put one over top of her while she's retreating, right?
Dara Russo, nifty footwork there. 1-on-2 with the defense, trying to send it in towards the box. And that's what we've seen over these last couple of minutes. Quick progressions either way from both teams, just nothing amounting from it. And don't get me wrong, a couple of great saves in net on both sides of the field thus far. And the rare shot on goal.
It's definitely been a lot of back and forth, and Finn there is just going to clip the Highlander there, Silverstone. Silverstone will get the call.
And you take a look at it here, Finn running in, and of course the ending contact, both bodies hitting the floor, kind of incidental, just ran over each other, but 3-1 in fouls as Upstate has the advantage, I guess, that no coach really wants an advantage in, but at the same time, they do indeed at this point. 73 saves for Cora Brendel, second in the conference. But goalkeeper of the year, and one of the more consistent ones in the nation over these last couple of seasons. Of her, that's the other outstanding thing, of her 10 career shutouts, she had 6 of them this season alone.
June Stevens is coming into the match now for Amy Swain, and one of the things that Coach Sarabi said is, you know, Swain and Oliver will start. They're very good players. They also tend to wear teams down, and so then Stevens and sometimes Paige Olsen can come in, and then they give them a little bit of boost at the second part of the half. We'll see what they do coming in here.
Loose ball down the right flank, controlled by Radford. Sophomore goalkeeper Phillips will get it out to her teammate Helena Wilson. And looking to switch the field in a hurry, Kat Paris gets pushed off the ball. Brendel comes out and takes advantage of it there. You mentioned Paige Olsen almost getting in on the fray right there, as that was a loose ball. And USC Upstate fans from Spartanburg out in droves tonight as well, waving the flag. Gotta love the support on both sides.
Well, and you have to appreciate the Matthews complex. You know, it's only a few hours for Campbell. It's about an hour or so, maybe, or not even an hour for Boiling Springs. You know, coming up from Aiken, not very far. So Radford probably had the longest drive of anybody.
Even then, good bit of red out there, and gotta love the support for both these programs. Look at Kennedy Dunnings there, coming over to the sideline, senior defender. That's the one thing that USC Upstate is this season that, in relatively speaking, in the last few years they haven't been, is deep. They have a lot of talent both on the field and over there wearing the pennies right now, some warming up, and a lot will see the pitch tonight. But, you know, we talked to Coach Saber about that earlier this week, and he just raved about how much effort they have put in terms of just getting better, both individually and as a team. Long right foot coming, Brendel right there, able to snag it. Not necessarily the power Lily Short wanted on it, but Brendel too strong, and you got to do a little bit more to get it by Cora Brendel.
And what I like about this is Radford's trying to impose themselves, right? Taking a couple of shots, getting confidence from that, and just being aggressive. Coach Sarabi said their game versus Upstate, it was not one of their best games of the season. You would always say that when it was a loss, but they didn't take care of the ball. They didn't do the little things that they needed to do, and they just didn't come out with the energy, and USC just played better than they did. And so I think he's hoping that they're going to bring that energy tonight, and I think getting some early shots on goal helps to bring that hype.
Well, again, 10-2 all-time against USC Upstate is Radford, but the Spartans have upended the Highlanders in 2 straight meetings, including last year as well, and then earlier on this year. But now Kat Paris, another chance. Left foot blocked away again by Brendel. And the goalkeepers came to play tonight.
And Paris is looking for that near post again. Once again, it was sort of 1 versus 3. She had the inside lane, but Upstate does a fantastic job of retreating back into the center, and she didn't really have anybody, right? There was nobody in the box with her, and so she's trying to just beat the keeper 1v1 and really didn't have a great angle on that.
Don't forget, make sure to tune in for the championship coming up on Sunday. Winner of this one will face Gardner-Webb, the 4 seed, after knocking off the 1-seeded Campbell Camels earlier on this evening in penalty kicks. But the Upstate crowd in attendance making some serious noise. They'll tilt one in, pumped out by Brendel, and now Brendel trying to start a run the other way, but just kind of threw it a little bit too far out in front of Emily Sanders on that one.
Yeah, you love her coming out and grabbing that ball and really showing her range. And you got to appreciate the quick transition, but just didn't put it in a really playable place for Sanders.
Big South Women's Soccer semifinal number 2. Mike Glenn alongside Sari Rose here on this Thursday night. Couple of action-packed games here in Matthews. Long run down here. Tara Russo trying to get those strides to it, and a little bit of a ball duffed out of play that time.
But this is where Upstate is dangerous, right? Yeah. They're very, very dangerous in the counterattack and in transition, and with the pace of Russo up top and with the ability of Finn, they're very, very dangerous when they play that direct long ball in.
And Dara Russo, just a freshman, but man, she does not play like it. That is for sure. A second-year player, but at the same time, looks outstanding in terms of her effort, as Morgan DeBarros will check in here for USC Upstate, going to the bench and find a little depth already as Russo swings and misses on that one, and it goes out of play for a throw in here for the Highlanders. So about 15 minutes left in the half here as Emily Rangel, the freshman defender, comes in. Throw in, trying to get it back towards the box. A slow roller, Phillips scoops it in. But with 13 minutes left here, Sari, what have you seen so far from both teams in terms of trying to play their own game and more or less trying to, move forward in this chess match?
Well, I think Radford's done a good job of really kind of owning the midfield, right? We've seen a number of times where Kiernos has been able to get the ball and possess it, and here just the interplay between Paris and the flank, and once again we see Paris on the ball. But so we're definitely seeing them dominate possession, and I'll give you a chance to take over with this service coming in.
And off the forehead there of a USC Upstate player, and that'll go out of play as Paige Olsen was trying to progress it in, but a good job by the freshman there and Olsen to stay on side on that, because that was one of those plays that you can easily, being that wide open, get a little ahead of yourself, but able to stay patient and allowing your chance now at a corner kick. 5 corners for Radford, none still for Upstate, so another chance. We'll see if Brendel can stay strong in the defensive line again. They'll go short side with it here. And a long pop-up to the far side to Kat Paris. Swing there by Olsen, no good on the left foot. Trying for the follow was June Stevens, but just can't quite get a left foot to it, at least not with the weight she would want to. And Cora Brendel, an easy save for her.
And it's interesting because Radford is actually in top 10 in the nation for corner kicks. And you say, okay, well, it's just corner kicks, but that's very much indicative of getting into the attack and getting into the final third and forcing that back line to make a decision. It's knocking it out of bounds. It's a goalkeeper tipping it. And so it shows just the pressure that Radford can put on an opposing team's defense.
Come in with one more win in the overall schedule than USC Upstate. 9-4-4 for the Spartans, 10-3-4 for the Radford Highlanders. But, of course, that head-to-head meeting is what decided the seeding between the 2 and the 3 this season. Mentioned it earlier, though, Radford no stranger to winning a Big South championship. They've been there 8 times. They've won 7 of them, including back-to-back in 2011 and 12, and then again in 2018 and 2019, where they defeated Gardner-Webb, who has indeed moved on to the championship game.
Really heartbreaking. Coach Varga had fantastic teams both of those years, and you thought that they were going to get through, but just each year just thumped out by Radford.
How often, though, do you see it the team that moves on? Don't get me wrong, 1 seeds a lot of the time, we'll say the majority of the time, will move on and represent their respective conferences, but it's a story you see every single year at a lot of mid-major conferences, is those 3 and 4 seeds really make some noise in the conference tournament, and of course go on to shock a few people, and then who knows, maybe they piece it together and shock a couple people in the NCAA tournament as well.
Well, I think the parity in the Big South, they're really the top 5 teams have really separated themselves from the bottom 5. But, coming into this, High Point was knocking on the door of getting into the conference. We talked about how there's been these weird scores where Upstate, which is, 2, ends up losing 4-0 to Campbell. But then, Gardner-Webb lost 4-0 to High Point. And I think there's really, on any given day, those top 4 or 5 teams could pull out a victory against each other.
And then Upstate meets Gardner-Webb in the final game of the season, and they draw, and that's how Gardner-Webb ends up eking their way into the tournament.
And you looked at it, you've got first-year head coach Sharif Saver, you've got first-year head coach Jeff Gross, Aaron McGinnis at High Point, first-year head coach as well. So there's a number of transitions, plus Liberty, who's now in the finals of the A-Sun, they left a couple of seasons ago. So lots of changes in the Big South, but, Radford's been very consistent in that top 4. Gardner-Webb has been consistent. I think Upstate's kind of the upstart, right? But Campbell, same thing, a tremendous soccer school on both the men's and women's side.
Warren Darbo would check in, as we talked about. South Carolina Upstate flexing the substitution muscles here in the first half, just trying to see if they can't find a few fresh legs in there and catch something in the final 9 minutes of the half. And whistle will blow, and it will head back the other way here for Radford.
Yeah, I think our officials saw that there was that pull, but was kind of playing the advantage, and then when Upstate won it back, that delayed whistle he blew there to give Radford now the kick.
Good, strong right foot, well down the field here. Headed on by USC Upstate, almost worked out in the favor of Radford, but instead it's back to midfield. One thing about watching soccer I've never envied is the beating that a forehead can take, that is for sure.
I think in some places, soccer can be more dangerous than American football because you don't have any pads and you're just getting knocked.
Yeah. A chance now for the freshman again, who sends one popping up and well out of play. A little rushed on that attempt by Paige Olson, but once again find herself on the right side flank wide open when she got the first touch.
The Highlanders are definitely finding those shots from distance, which once again plays into Coral Brendel just being athletic and being very good on the ball. But I think you mentioned it was rushed. I think the patience, can they get the ball on the ground, maybe find a better angle, or give time for them to get numbers in the box?
Line drive up and over, headed out. That one Sky's right side. 7:20 to go here in the first half. Can one of these teams take the advantage into the halftime locker room? Kiernos to the middle of the field. Collision there called against USC Upstate, and we will see a free kick. Radford fans and the Radford bench wanting a delay of game, but nothing called. We'll see what they dial up here. Helena Wilson will be the one to take it. Good, strong right leg to the near side, looking for the header, and it's out of play as she found Skylar Prosser, but Prosser A little bit too strong off the backside of the head and out of play.
Here we go, Rod! Whistle goal, Rod!
And how important is it to have a goalkeeper that can change sides of the field and start runs just with one swing of the leg?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that's incredible about having a goalkeeper like Cora Brindle who can play the ball with her feet is she can switch the point. They're comfortable playing her back and using her as a resource. And here's a great shot again that she's going to tip over. But it adds confidence to your defense, and it also is a tremendous outlet. Yeah. So if they are under pressure, we're comfortable playing it back to her, and she can swing it and change the point of attack and relieve pressure.
Great move by Paige Olson here as just a little hesitation, goes back, lets it fly, and immediately turns around and grabs her face as she might want that one back and put a little bit different hook on it, maybe go to the top left 90 as opposed to where she did. But once again, takes a lot to get it by Cora Brindle. Comes the corner header, too strong and out of play, as was Helena Wilson the one to put the forehead to it.
But for her to be that wide open on a corner kick, I see as troubling for USC, right? The last thing you want is for a player to have that ability to, basically square up and try and put it on frame, even though it was just a little bit wide.
Looked like a lot of white kicks stacking to the top side, nobody checking or marking anybody out up top. 5 minutes left to go here in the first half.
And that's crucial defensively. You're checking the ball, you're checking over your shoulder, making sure you know where players are.
This is a Radford team that's only given up 15 goals this season, only 14 given up on the other side. Now, that being said, Radford does have the plus 14 advantage in goals scored. But USC Upstate has just battled so many one-goal wins for this Spartan program this season. Radford a little bit more of the comfortable wins that they would like to see, of course. One of the few multi-goal wins, though, for USC Upstate was against this Radford program back last month. A one-on-one action on the far side. And a trip there, and nothing called. And immediately getting up looking for it, June Stevens, wondering where the whistle was, but it ends up going out of play.
And I thought she was actually inside of the box there, so it's interesting. It's a good little cut, but I think she was already out of bounds when that push came, and so a good job there by our AR recognizing that the ball had already crossed over the line, and she was not in a position where she would be able to.
I like Alexis Kiernos having the conversation with the official. A little campaigning never works, right? I should say never hurts.
And June Stevens has been very good for the Highlanders coming off of the bench. Once again, they talk about how Amy Swain can kind of wear down a defender, and then, Stevens comes in and gives them that spark, and I think we can see how she is crafty in the corner and 1v1.
And you mentioned both Stevens and Olsen coming off the bench and how highly Coach Sarabi spoke of them and the kind of game changers they can be. And, well, they've both been very heavily involved here since coming into this game. And a quick little kick out of play there by Emily Sanders as she took it off the foot of Ashley Pandelides. And a throw over the head. Pandelides maybe mistimed it or just wasn't on the same page as the throw in that time by Kayla Edwards. So an easy out of play and goal kick now here for Cora Brindle. 2.5 to play in the first half. Both teams still looking for that advantage. USC Upstate in the home whites, Radford in the red tops and white shorts here as the away team and the 3 seed. Winner of this one on to Sunday's championship where Gardner-Webb, the 4 seed, awaits. And despite having the late game, you'd have to imagine that either one of these teams was excited to watch that game go all the way to PKs. Now, of course, they have to avoid that same fate themselves, but at the same time, they probably like that, knowing, hey, well, maybe the legs are a little bit tired. But, comparatively speaking to some conference tournaments, the Thursday night semifinals into the Sunday championship, a little extra day of rest. Sometimes you only have that one day in between, but in this conference tournament, you have 2.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I love that the Big South has gone to the Sunday, because it does give that extra day of rest, especially since, in previous years, teams would have played on like a Saturday, or, some conferences back in the day, it was like a Thursday, Friday, Sunday, So I love that, all of these teams finished conference play last Wednesday, and then they had a nice long break to start this Thursday. And, this Thursday is the greatest day of soccer, because there's 12 different conferences that are all having their competitions across the country, and so it's always fun to be able to just switch channels and watch different teams playing and trying to get that championship berth.
And if you're tuning in on ESPN Plus, we of course appreciate that, and checking out this one as we got a good one on hand. Right foot coming, but turned away once more. Finds its way out to Sanders. Sanders left foot into the box. And all the way through it skips, trying to run it down. Does she get there in time? She did to Lauren Darbo. And Darbo a little pushing and shoving with Paige Olson. Each one of them pointing at each other. And looks like USC Upstate will control the ball. Little curve on that one, trying to get in behind the defense, and they did. And you saw the hands go on the face there of Emily Sanders. Good little entry pass by Elena McKnight. And skipped in. I think they're saying it might have gone off. Oh, excuse me. I thought they were setting up for a corner. Instead, final 10 seconds here in this first half as this ball will be put back in play. But the first half comes to an end, and we're locked in a gridlock. Nothing after one half of play. And Coach... I should say, sorry, it's old habits die hard, right, Sari? But at the same time, looking at this first half, both teams playing a little bit of a game.
And it'll be interesting to see what changes are made. We saw a number of substitutions by Sharif Saver and that Upstate squad, and a few by Ben Sarabi and the Highlanders. Once again, Sarabi is apt to change his outside forwards, those left and right flank players, but not many other changes aside from that. And now the Highlanders are going to get a call in the corner there.
And a great call earned there by Katie Oliver, and standing right up and pointing out Adriana Pepe, frustrated with the call, but not a bad initial attempt at the ball, but it was the extracurricular, keeping the legs up and the trip right in front of the official. And really not very often you're going to get away with something like that, at least not in a game like this. So it'll leave it up to Alexis Kiernos, set to put this ball into play just a little bit from the corner. High arcing kick over, and it's headed out, as actually looked like a couple of Radford players headed it into each other. And now that one pushed out on the second effort, that time by Emily Rangel, the freshman defender. Couple of time defensive player of the week in the Big South Conference was Emily Rangel out of Austin, Texas. And a great pickup for Coach Saber here in his first season. And that is one of the young ladies that has made him Coach of the Year in 2022. You're just joining us. A good hard-fought first half. A little bit of advantage for both sides, mainly in the shot side of things for Radford.
Well, early on, Upstate in transition was able to kind of get some opportunities off of a misplayed ball by the Highland defense, but you can see now they're doing a very good job. Not only are their back four retreating, but also that six holding midfielder is really dropping off as soon as they see Upstate with the ball, because they want to make sure that they don't get beat over the top.
Spartans control it around midfield. They go left to right here in the second half, wearing the home whites as they are the higher seed, the 2 seed. Meanwhile, the 3 seed Radford wearing the red tops, white shorts. Winner plays Gardner-Webb coming up on Sunday at 1 o'clock right back here in Matthews to be crowned the Big South champion and, of course, punch their ticket to the 2022 NCAA championships. And a little contact there on both sides, so nothing being called there. And refs letting them play right now. Ashley Finn will roll the ball over with the left foot, brings it into the right corner. Now brings it back, left foot striking, and one hops into Jordan Phillips. And Jordan Phillips' second save of the night, and really the second test, quote unquote, that she's seen.
Yeah, and once again, not much of a challenge there. You know, the one thing you've got to be wary of as a goalkeeper, we've mentioned that it's nighttime. We mentioned that the field starts to get slick, and so that skip could take a wonky turn, but Phillips does a good job of getting her body behind it.
Say it's already a fast-playing field, and then you add a little dew to the mix, and all of a sudden it plays a little bit faster. But They'll clear the ball out of play there. Rangel goes out of play with it. And it'll stay here for Radford on a throw-in deep into Spartans territory. And looking at the substitute numbers, we talked about the depth of USC Upstate, but actually more players donning the field off the bench for Radford in that first half. So Coach Sarabi saying, I got some depth too over on my sideline, and the red and white trying to flex that muscle if they can and see if one of them could be that difference maker here tonight.
And you can see it looks like they've made a little bit of an adjustment in their lineup. Looks like Finn is the lone forward up top for Upstate, but here's Oliver in the corner.
And a good job to play that one far corner there by, I believe that was Rangel. Couldn't quite see there in the red uni, but I mean the white uni. And in fact, I think that was Adriana Pepe that was step for step out there with Oliver. Either way, well played on the defensive side of things, and actually they'll say it went off of Oliver and out of play, so it'll be a goal kick here for Brendel. Long day of soccer here in Matthews, North Carolina, but a fun one, that's for sure. We showed you there at halftime the highlights from the earlier matchup, the 1 and 4, as Gardner-Webb, the 4 seed, upsetting number 1 seeded Campbell. And here we are tonight, the 2 and 3, locked in a battle right now. Final 40 minutes of regulation, trying to see if one of them can win in regular time. Ball loose along the sideline. Russo will tap it on to Finn. Finn's taken down. And now a free kick coming from just to the right of midfield. So we'll see what the strategy is here for Coach Saber.
You talked about how the importance of Finn and being able to work together, and once again Russo dropping really back into the midfield to try and get on the end of the ball, but now here's Brendel with the kick.
Cora Brendel all the way out of the goal box for another kick here just to the right of midfield. Sarah, you had mentioned that earlier. A specialty of hers, goes far post with it. Headed on, trying to get it through, in behind the defense. A little stutter step that time. Margaretta, and that ball punted out.
Yeah, Barnadotter doing a great job in the box of just keeping that alive. And now here's Brendel all the way out of her box, and she's just gonna launch that downfield, but able to find Bocelli.
Margaretta Bjarnadottir, a freshman out of Iceland. Really testing our name pronunciations this evening, that's for sure. And there she is with it on her foot. Tries for the right foot strike, but it's off the defender and right back to her teammate, and Natasha Ferreira.
And those flat balls in the midfield can just crush a team, and you see the turnover here, but USC was trying to keep it in, and unable to do that was Katarina Bastos.
38 minutes and 40 seconds left to go here in this regulation. A 2-0 win for USC Upstate, the first time they met earlier this season, and an interesting play there in the middle of the field. Helena Wilson getting locked up with Ashley Finn and just bringing her to the ground with her. Ooh, and then the shoulder there at the end slid into the chin there of Ashley Finn, who is back up, one of the tougher players on the squad, just a junior out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. But she's up and ready to go. Of course, biting that uniform, a little bit of pain there as she gets up, but she'll be ready to go. It'll be Helena Wilson here with the free kick. She'll send it right down the middle. Looking for Paris, but just can't get it to her. That was what we saw early in this game. They went to Paris a lot, have kind of gone away from that. Is now Brendel. And high steps over Kat Paris on that one, as Kat Paris lurking behind her. And Cora Brendel sensing her and waiting a couple of seconds there and letting Paris clear out.
Once again, that ball kind of really hit directly towards Brendel. I mean, yes, Paris was there, but, easy enough within her area to come out and grab.
Bjarnadottir sends it down right side, trying to run it down is Emily Sanders. And it's tapped out of play by Jillian Silverstone. Sanders thought about a quick throw in. Instead, she'll wait for her teammate to come down and grab it. And it'll be Katarina Bastos, the one to throw it in.
And I like seeing Sanders get into the attack. Sometimes she'll play as an outside back for them. But really her getting forward has been very impressive.
Took a couple seconds there to tie the shoe, and now she's ready for the throw in. Going to go near side of the box with it. Bjarnadottir has been all over the place here in the early going of this second half on the right side of the field in that forward position for Coach Saber. Providing a little spark of energy on the offensive side, and now trying to take it away in the midfield, but Radford holds on. Ball kicking around, almost taken away from Oliver. Oliver holds on to it, despite the best efforts of Russo. We'll bring it near side here, wide open, but well offside on that one. Amy Swain just couldn't stop her run in time.
Yeah, once again, you saw that ball getting played in, wondering where it was going to go, and Swain clearly offside there.
I imagine calling for the ball a little bit earlier than it was given up her way, but 36 goals, 31 assists on the season for Radford, 22-19 for the USC Upstate Spartans. First meeting between these two teams all the way back in 2008. A loss 2-0 in Spartanburg, and the most recent meeting, a win 2-0 for USC Upstate up in Virginia.
And you can see the pressure that Upstate's putting on Phillips and that back line, and you know that's something that Coach Sarabi said they have to be able to handle, is that pressure. And now Sanders is down, and it looks like Upstate's been really playing in at like a 4-5-1 coming out of this half, with Finn sort of up top on her own. But
that's really what Finn can do right there. It makes the goalkeeper have a questionable pass, and then Emily Sanders comes in, and Elena Wilson involved in some serious tussles so far here tonight. Sanders will be the one to cue it up in the far right corner. Thought about a quick pass. Instead, she'll raise her hand and send it on in. Good cross to the far side, trying for the header, but cleared out by Paris. It'll be taken into possession, though, by the Spartans. Ashley Finn sends one towards net, and it's up and over. Jordan Phillips went up with the right hand, pulled it down at the right time, but one of those tricky ones that you never know, if you put it on the right spot, it might find its way in, but we'll take a look at it here.
Just a good job. She turns and kind of realizes she's got that space, and so she's going to tee it up. Highlanders have to be quicker to put pressure and step to that ball, because the last thing you want is Ashley Finn with space to shoot.
Throw in here for the Spartans, and you hear the Spartans faithful making the trip up from Spartanburg and making some serious noise on this Thursday night, trying to will their team to the conference tournament finals on Sunday afternoon. It's been a year of many, many firsts this year for USC Upstate, and trying for one more if they can make their way and punch their ticket on Sunday afternoon.
Well, it's just an unbelievable season for Upstate. You know, win, lose, whatever happens tonight, you know, record setting for them in terms of just being able to get players to make all conference, coaches coach of the year, you know, the number of wins that they've had, who they've had wins against, everything is all trending in that right direction. And you have 17 new players. 13 of which are freshmen, so very bright future for this Upstate squad.
One of them right there, Bjarnadottir. Margaret Edda Bjarnadottir out of Iceland, a freshman. And that was what Coach Saber raved about with his squad, is yes, he helped bring in a lot of these newcomers, but even then, it was up to them to really become a cohesive bunch. And man, if they'd done that, and more than even Coach Saber, and Coach Saber made the joke, he's like, not that I didn't expect them to be good, but at the same time, they came together a lot quicker than I thought they would. And well, here they are with a chance to head to the conference tournament finals with a win tonight.
And I really appreciated talking to him just about the team and him talking about the players and what their aspirations are after college, and how he's had to talk to them about understanding that they are student athletes, and they're so fired up about soccer that he sometimes has to talk to them about, hey, settle down, you're doing too much, you got to take a break, take a mental break, etc. And so he really seemed just passionate about what he wanted to do to help these young women develop into tremendous people post-college as well.
It's one of those things, what he's done with USC Upstate's been incredible, but it hasn't been necessarily a shock, just with the way he was able to walk into Mount Olive and do pretty much the same thing, led them to 2 NCAA tournament appearances, a couple of Coach of the Year nods there, and here he is at the Division I level. Kept the same colors and came down this direction.
Just doesn't have the pickle smell anymore.
Yeah, exactly. No pickle smell. Spartans, and traded the Trojans for the Spartans, so
The sports information director at Upstate, who was tremendous, connecting us with Coach Saber, was a former student at Mount Olive, and just was part of the hiring committee for Saber, and it was neat to see that connection. And she said, she's enjoying her time at Upstate, and she's appreciating not having the pickle smell.
I was going to say, the funny part about it, small world, she was a former player for Coach Saber, and now she was the one that helped get him hired at USC Upstate in the interview process. I'm sure she was probably one of the tougher ones on him, that's for sure. Either way, a chance now on the other side of the field here for Cora Brendel to come on up and put that right boot to it. Under 31 minutes to play here in the second half. Something's got to give on this Thursday night. Just after 9 o'clock local time here in Matthews, southeast of Charlotte. Behind the head it goes and into the hands innocently of Jordan Phillips. And didn't play last year, did the goalkeeper out of Lorton, Virginia. 14 games, 14 starts this season. Has allowed just 12 goals, has 42 saves. Not a bad sophomore campaign. Cora Brendel well off the line. That one off of Paris, and the height on that off of Paris helps out Brendel to be able to scamper back.
And that looked like one of those old Nintendo soccer
yes.
moves where you were able to stand in front of the goalkeeper, and when they went to punt it out, it would hit off you and go in, and you could get a cheap goal in the video game. Well, here's Paris now working up top.
And a chance now here for Radford. Haven't seen them apply much pressure over these last couple of minutes. Nice little move that time by Wilson to hold on to it. She'll get it near side here to Kiernos. Tapped on, right foot coming. Gets by Brendel, and it's in! What a shot! So much curve to that one, and it hits the lower left 90, and Brendel immediately comes out. What a beautiful shot by Amy Swain, who checks back in and gets the job done and puts Radford on the board in the second half.
And I think a little bit of a stunner for Cora Brendel, and even for us here watching that, kind of just was an errant pass that ends up getting control. So here's Kierno, she's on it, she splits the 2 defenders. That ball sort of rolls, and it looked like it was going to get flicked by an Upstate defender, but just an unbelievable spin here by Swain, and catches Brendel just unable to step and make the save, but really developed kind of out of what looked like a bad pass almost.
It might have skipped, it might have been blocked by a couple of white jerseys in front of her, just the way that ball came in at an angle, but talk about a one-timer. Amy Swain getting behind that one and puts all sorts of English on it and breaks the scoreless tie. A corner kick attempt, though, coming. The second of the night for USC Upstate. But you talked about earlier, we talked about how they're sitting top 10 in the nation in corner kicks, drawing our Radford, and just have put themselves so many times in good positions. And there's another one there, and this time they're able to capitalize on it first.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, and here's a shot there.
Left foot comes, and it's off the side there, Jordan Phillips. And again, that's one of those ones you don't necessarily expect to come off with as much heat as it did, but Phillips able to watch that one go out of play.
I was just going to say, it's very interesting to see how Upstate responds from going down a goal and what they're able to do and what sort of adjustments they're going to make. We've seen a number of tweaks as substitutes have come in their formation, both teams throughout this evening.
And that was Nia Bocelli, the other transfer from Mount Olive that came over with Coach Saber. 9 goals, 3 assists last season. Has played in 17 here at the Division I level, started in 13, including tonight. But just a little bit too high on that, looking for the equalizer as we click under 28 to play, and a 1-0 lead here for Radford. And another chance coming for Kiernos. Little hot step there. Cross into the middle, trying to find her again. Swain skying up, but just over the top of the head there. Beautiful delivery by Oliver, right back towards the middle. As now Sanders steps up, takes one away. Bjarnadottir through the middle of the field, looking to progress the ball down on a counter. Sends it through, trying to find Sanders all the way in, tries to get it there, but a good save on the defensive side. Probably would have been easy scoop up for Lauren Phillips, but can't leave anything to chance as Jillian Silverstone kicks it out of play, and another corner coming now here on the second straight possession for South Carolina Upstate.
But just an unbelievable pass by Bjarnadottir,
Yes.
and just the way she split those seams to find Sanders on the run.
And I'll tell you what, like I said earlier, she's been a bit of a spark plug coming into this second half, has been Bjarnadottir. Easier to say her name now the amount of times we've had to say it, you know? To the middle, Paris just selling out the body and laying out, trying to put a head to it. Almost took a boot off the face, but instead it goes back to the Spartans. Ball rolls down into the corner. Somehow that ball stayed in play. Not really sure how, but you got to be careful there by Phillips. I don't think she knew Sanders was on her left. Kind of knocked it out with her knees and able to scoop it up.
Looked like she was trying to receive that with her thigh, but just didn't realize that there was pressure coming.
And the car in the background there, like an old school Sandlot type game, trying to light the field up for him. But now another one towards Sanders on that far side. And out of play as Kayla Edwards trying to get there. And that's an interesting matchup to be watching here as a couple of runs down that right flank. Edwards trying to defend and Emily Sanders just trying to use her speed. She's been able to try to get there, but just hasn't been able to have anything amount from it. As we'll see a couple of substitutions. Ashley Launderman will come in for the first time tonight.
Launderman's another Virginia kid for this Radford team. She's only got 1 goal on the season, but early on she had started the first 3 games of the season, but yeah, she's played in all 17, but it just had those first starts on at the start of the season.
1-0 Radford on a second half goal by Amy Swain. Her 12th career goal and 6th this season. And now Kat Paris looking to add to it as that one's poked out of play by Katarina Bastos. Does USC Upstate have one more comeback in them? A program that has had their number over the history of things, but Radford has lost 2 straight in this series. Would hold a 10-2 record overall dating back to 2008. In the first year that USC Upstate jumped to the Division I level.
And it's taken them a while. A lot of times when teams jump from Division II to Division I, you're trying to see like how will that progression go, what is in place. And Upstate was a very good Division II program, but really struggled early on to make the jump. And it's really just been since Sabres come here this year that they've had such a, I think their best year was 2019 prior to this, but not the success that we've seen this year really.
And a consistent success. They've had games here and there, but putting that together and making it a full schedule of success is really the first time. That one's knocking around in another dangerous moment there in front of Cora Brendel. And the goalkeeper of the year in the Big South. Watch the only goal of the night go in and hoping that her offense can try to find something a little more sustained, because you look at it right now, 9 shots for USC Upstate, 1 on goal. Meanwhile, 12 and 7 for shots and shots on goal for Radford. So just far more quality opportunities for Radford here tonight. And maybe a little of a chip on the shoulder for Radford in a game that you talked about it. Coach Sarabi had talked about they just didn't play their best soccer that night, and obviously the result 2-0 shows it. And so here tonight, something to prove, not just to themselves, but also to the team that took them down earlier this season.
Well, and once again, this is the most important match of the year because it's happening today. And if they can't come and bring it, then their season is over. And so I think, once again, going into conference tournament, everything changes. And, we see there Paris, just an unbelievable individual effort there to draw that foul.
Yeah. And even if she's not scoring, that is what she does so well, is she draws the attention of the defense and frustrates them and draws them into a few fouls, does it there, tripped up. Not a bad first attempt at it, but unable to do much after that. Eight fouls to 3 in favor of USC Upstate. Low liner across the box, right to the head of a Spartan. Audrey Bear, the one that looked like that it went off of her head and out of the box and right into Cora Brendel. So Brendel looking to switch sides of the field in a hurry and puts a strong right foot to it. One hops across midfield.
But you can see how Radford's doing a very good job. They know Brendel's got a big, strong foot, and so they're dropping back. And now here, unbelievable.
Chance again. And they're going to say offside on Amy Swain. Just couldn't hold up in time. And Cora Brendel a chance to take a breath there and may have come up a little bit lame on that one on trying to stretch out to the right side. But, man, a good progression there and a mistake defensively by the freshman Rangel.
You see, once again, she's just going to put that out there.
I think that's one that Amy Swain probably will want back, a chance in on the goalkeeper.
Yeah, just that kick save there. Pulls something, and she comes up a little short.
3 offsides now on Radford, but they do hold a 1-0 lead in the second semifinal of the day. Looking to be the one that will play Gardner-Webb on Sunday afternoon right back here in Matthews. Don't want to make a trip down for Virginia be in vain. And that one sails out of play as Paris was trying to kick it far side of the field over to Amy Swain.
But I like what Paris is doing. She's checking off of the back line of Upstate, coming into the midfield a little bit, and then getting in her looks and seeing if she can't connect with somebody either wide. Didn't really have anybody underneath her to support, but she's looking to constantly get the ball. If they're not finding her, she's going to find it.
We talked about a Paris with 7 goals, but the one thing I saw from watching film of this Radford program this season is, and really we've seen it time and time again tonight, she's seemingly involved on most every play when it comes to the midfield or the forward position. And even tonight has played some good defense as well in the box on corners.
Yep.
20 minutes left to go here in this second semifinal.
And I think the big thing is Radford has to keep this intensity, right? They're trying to possess the ball. They're going to try and start milking the clock as we get under 14 or 15 minutes. But USC is so dangerous in transition and that counterattack, and so they've got to constantly be aware and make sure they can keep the lead, basically.
Yes. Understandable. Well, and again, that's what we saw in that first game tonight.
Yeah.
Campbell dominated for 70-plus minutes, but it only took one strike from the corner and then a PK to come back and win that game for Gardner-Webb. High one skies up and over the top of the net as Brendel quickly out, feeling a bit of urgency here in these final 20 minutes.
And I love the fact that they've got Olsen and Stevens back in. You can see great effort there trying to get that shot off, but they bring that energy and they bring that pressure on the backs of USC. It sounds silly sometimes that you're telling them to keep the lead, but managing these final 18 minutes is going to be key. You want to still attack. You want to make sure you're being dangerous. You want to try and get that second goal, but you also have to be very mindful of not stretching yourself too much.
Yeah. And if you're USC Upstate, at what point do you get in terms of a little more aggressive and trying to really push the action here. Paige Olson sends one in and Cora Brendel there. But once again, Paige Olson wide open on the right side of the field. And so far, they've been playing with fire over there, and they've been able to get away with it. But eventually, I feel like you got to close those ranks a little bit more.
Yeah, it's definitely been knocking on the door. And I think we look to see, at one point I said they were playing with like a lone forward. I'd like to see if USC Upstate can't get more numbers in the attack. I think they've kind of transitioned to a little bit of a 4-4-2, but they're playing where those players are wide, right? So you've got Sanders out here. You still have Russo up top.
June Stevens sending one back to her defense there. Emily Sanders hounding it down. Now Beyond daughter will send it to the far side of the field. Big strike coming from well outside, but a clean one there for June Phillips to scoop up. Excuse me, Jordan Phillips, my apologies. Looks like Ellie Arnold checking into the game. Number 10 in white over on the far side. We'll send it out to the flank. Cross into the middle. Russo tries to control it, skips a little bit too far off her thighs that time. And down to Radford. And a little bang-bang play out of play here for a throw-in for Radford. Kennedy Dunning's back on the field. She'll throw it in. And looks like another substitution coming on. Kiernos going to check back in as Amy Swain has done her job. That is for sure, and she'll get a well-deserved breather. Excuse me, Lily Short.
Lily Short, I thought, was fabulous in the first half.
Yeah.
Did a tremendous amount of sort of yeoman work, trying to chase balls down, working both sides of the ball defensively and in the attack. And great effort for her. But I think, once again, 16 minutes left. I want to have Kiernos back on the field.
For sure. And there she is right there. And we'll feed it back to her goalkeeper and Phillips. And just kind of screwballs off the inside of the foot. And good job to run it down there by Lauren Darbo. But I think they will call the handball on that one as she got it a little bit higher off the bounce than she expected there at first and kind of ran into it.
And I think it's been a good matchup between the USC back line and Paris. And I think, she's been extremely dangerous. But a lot of times, her getting the ball is because she's checking off of them and into those little half spaces between the lines.
Sorry, what's been the difference tonight in the fact that of the 10 shots USC Upstate has, they only have 2 on goal? What's been the difference there that you've seen on the defense of Radford, or has it just been the quality of chances that USC Upstate's tried?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of the quality of chances that they've tried, and I think, once again, we've seen this Radford backline really dropping off and trying to make sure they're in a good defensive position and they have numbers and support, and so I don't think Upstate's really had quality chances. Some of that could be because they have rushed them as well.
Sure. Back to the midfield here. And trying to stay on side there was Sanders and had to slow up a little bit too much, and an easy takeaway by Kayla Edwards.
And I like the fact that Coach Saber's making those adjustments, right? They started in the 3-5-2. We saw them a little bit where it looked like they were in a 4-5-1 of sorts, and now we've seen them in what looks to be maybe a 4-4-2 with Sanders up top and Russo, and then you've got Finn kind of in that middle position as a target in the maybe top of the triangle. But we've seen a lot of different looks from this squad, and as we mentioned, just the fluidity of their formation. And I've really been impressed with, she just had the ball taken from her by Kiernos, but I've really been impressed with the freshman Margaret Etta Bjarnesdottir.
Oh, I agree. I mean, she's been, again, the real constant in this second half for Upstate. And really has just seemingly on every offensive play has either started it, tried a chance here and there. And just continuing to try to chip away at the defense that's been very strong on the other side. And Kat Paris gets spun around in the midair, hopped up. She was hot. And official finally gives her the whistle, but she popped up in a hurry, pleading her case. And the head official, I think, just a little bit too slow to blow the whistle for Kat Paris's liking, but she gets the call either way. And that'll leave it up here for Kiernos on a service into the box.
And you can hear, I think that was Coach Saber screaming, "Get back!" Making sure they've got tons of numbers in the box. And Paris goes down, but another no call there by our official.
And looked like some incidental contact, I should say. And I think that's one of those ones that in the box, it's got to be really blatant and for sure. And in a game like this, you can't just give it away. So 12.5 to play. Radford has controlled the vast majority of this game. Big 12 minutes. Does USC Upstate have it in them to try to put this thing in the back of the net, tie us up, or grab a lead? Don't want to see their sensational season come to an end just yet. They're climbing an uphill battle right now. Meanwhile, Radford trying to get back to their 9th Big South tournament appearance, championship, I should say, tournament appearance, and see if they can't bring home their 8th title. Meanwhile, Gardner-Webb salivating at the chance to play either one of these teams after a big-time win earlier today in PKs over the number 1 seed Campbell. That's what you got to love about the postseason, right?
And Radford's got to be happy if they win this. They were able to beat Gardner-Webb at 3-0 during the regular season at Gardner-Webb. Remember, we talked about Gardner-Webb had some tremendous results this year, and then they just had some bad losses. And
had a 21-0 game, and you look at it and you're like, that's got to be a typo. And it wasn't, folks. But, again, it was against Division II Allen University. But at the same time, 21 goals in a match is 21 goals in a match. I don't care who you're playing.
What's interesting, we talked about how good Maddie Turlington is, and when you're looking at her stats and you're sort of paying attention and you're like, oh, wow, they beat a team 21-0. Oh, she's got 18 goals. She must have just, lit it up for 5 or 6 that game, but she's only had a max of 3 goals this season, but she just had 6 games where she scored 2 or 3 goals. Yeah. And so she is just a very, very dominant number 9 in this Big South Conference, and so it will be interesting, depending on who goes through, how Gardner-Webb does in that final.
As we talked about, Turlington sitting number 2 in the nation in goals scored this season with 18 in her final year as a Bulldog, and try to do something even more special. And that, of course, is win a conference tournament championship here in her final game in Big South play coming up on Sunday, where they will await the winner of this game here. And right now, if the score holds, Radford will be right back in it. Be a battle of the red squads. Ball into the middle, and a whistle blows. An interesting place, but I think an injured player on the far left sideline. Russo slow to get up again, and still maybe nursing the tweak that she had earlier, but up she goes, and it looks like there will be an opportunity down in the far left corner here for a chance to send one into the box for the Spartans.
Well, this is a dangerous opportunity. You got to love Cora Brendel coming all the way up. It'll be interesting to see if they keep one player back or 2. They only have 1, so the transition out of this could be fun to watch. But
and Brendel screaming out of the corner after she throws that one back in play. And Brendel's going to have to take the entire length of the field. And now USC Upstate a chance to get it in the middle, and it's kicked out and taken away by Radford. And that was interesting because they had a wide open player on the right side. Maybe they thought she might be offside, so they slowed the play down a little bit, but at the same time, Ball still in the offensive third here for Russo and the Spartans. And it's kicked out of play by Wilson, a throw in from that far corner.
As a former goalkeeper, I love that Brendel came up. Now, I don't think her service was good. If you are going to play that in, you need to make sure you're overhitting that.
That's fair.
Because the last thing you want is to doink it off somebody short, and now you're in a foot race back to goal. So not the best service in, but I love her confidence coming up and, you know, taking that opportunity. I'm really been impressed with her this evening despite giving up that one goal.
8.5 minutes for Radford to make a stand. Upstate applying some pressure. Off of another Radford player there, held on to by the Highlanders. Now Paris looks to feed it on. Beautiful little between the legs pass there. And now coming back the other way on a counter. And they'll just send one in. I don't think they knew Kiernos was there on that left side. Would have been interesting to see him try to put a pass through.
Well, it's interesting. Katie Oliver did a fantastic job. Quick transition. I wonder if she should have just kept going, right?
Yeah.
If you didn't see somebody, the last thing you want to do is put it at a goalkeeper's feet who's got a tremendous serve, right? So could she try and take that into the corner and sort of kill time as opposed to just playing that long ball into no one? I mean, Kiernos was on the run, but that ball was way out of her range.
And again, you talked about you still got to apply that pressure and be aggressive even late in games, even though you're up, as Russo trying to get one in there. And Upstate running out of chances here with 7.5 to play.
And this is right in that sweet spot where you're really trying to milk the clock, right?
Yeah.
If you're hitting a ball as far up and out as you can. If you're taking a throw in, you're going to try and, you know, fix your cleat. You're going to try and, you know, take time. I'm going to pick up the ball, and then I'm going to put it down for you to pick up the ball. And really that gamesmanship becomes so important once you're at this 7-minute mark.
Well, and it's also that challenge of how do you do that without taking yourself out of your own rhythm and out of your own game. And there is that fine line to be walked, because you can delay a game, but you can also kind of take yourself out of it mentally if you do it too much. So,
and if you do it too soon, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great point, is if you're knocking at the door, hey, you know, sometimes if it's super on, then hey, let's go and let's two.
Sure.
But if you're not sure about it, it's better to play safe than risk the counter.
6.5 to play as this ball put back into the field of play by Radford. Lily Short back on the field here. Off of Bjarnadottir and out of play, and Short will leave it. And here's a little bit of that gamesmanship for the throw-in, as I think we'll see another substitution coming in as well.
And I believe we heard play it to the corner, so if nothing else, we'll see who's going to get on the ball there. And a bad touch by Paris to put it out of bounds for Upstate. But
almost like she was trying to flick it backwards as she lifted her leg up there, but just went off the side of the foot and out of play. It's a long throw-in coming from Bastos. This moves up the field here as it goes off of June Stevens. Always interesting when you got a throw in right in the pocket of the opposing bench, right? And credit to both these squads. Neither one of them has sat down for a single second tonight. Why would you? It's the postseason, right? June Stevens, little individual effort, gets around the defender. Good sliding tackle, though, there on the last effort by Natasha Ferreira. That's one of those tackles you gotta time the right way, otherwise that can put your team in a very tough position. But Ferreira, a good job there.
and our official is actually going to stop the clock because he saw there was a little bit of time wasting. So 5:25 left, but they're going to put Paris in the corner here.
And she will trickle that way, 1-on-2, and rolls it out for a throw-in. Ooh, and Bjarnadottir tried to flick it on, but a good job by Short, who will take it right back into that corner. And playing a little keep away here and just wasting some time off the clock. Bjarnadottir gets around and taps it in back towards Paris. Paris sends one into Brendel. Now Brendel looking to start a quick counter. And she'll put a rainbow over half field to try to get it out there. USC Upstate fans there as they run in front of them, trying to will their team for a comeback in the final 5 minutes. Trip, nothing called. Chance in front. Bjarnadottir, right foot off the defense and out of play. I mean, back out towards midfield. It's Kayla Edwards that put the knee to it. She had Emily Sanders wide open to the right of her. And maybe trying to play the odds, thinking if she could take a shot, get a deflection. I don't know, but either way.
Yeah, the last thing you want to see is they're under 5 minutes left, and you've got Bjarnadottir at the top of the box wide open with Sanders to her right.
Yeah. 4-11 as Brendel up to midfield again here on this free kick. Good service in. Off the back of the head, Phillips going to have to run it down, but it'll be a corner. So Upstate, at the very least, giving themselves some chances here in the ladder going. Beautiful night, temperatures now into the 50s. As you take a look at it here.
Well, and it'll be interesting to see if Upstate's going to play this ball into the box, or I think we saw them earlier where they'll actually play a ball back and then send it in. They've been crafty on set pieces before, but you look how high up the field Brendel is. If that ball pops out 25 yards, she's probably going to be the one to put it back in. Good punch
Phillips
away.
Punched it away. Somehow skied up against a lot more height in front of her. And so Emily Sanders will run it down towards midfield. Kiernos steps in. Beautiful control by Kiernos there. Could have just booted it away. Instead, decided to control it a little bit more, and now she'll ride it down the sideline. And a sliding tackle there on the right of your screen. You saw the punch out by Phillips. Great job by the young goalkeeper here tonight. Has tallied 2 saves, has faced just 2 shots on goal, but she's stonewalled both of them. And once again, June Stevens will pin it into the corner here as it's taken away. And you can tell they're trying to kill time because that's an opportunity that Parrish usually would try to apply some heat on net, but instead it goes out of play here for a throw-in. And Lily Short thought it was hers, but instead it'll be picked up here by Upstate. 2:15 to go, but a turnover not going to help the cause here for the Spartans. And I wonder how they choose the corner to kill time.
In terms of who's in the corner, or in terms
just
of
which corner in general, you know?
Usually it's going to be the closest one that you can get to.
That's fair enough.
But I honestly, I always get a little bit scared when you have your best player that's the one in the corner, because it is something where they can pick up a little injury if somebody's hacking at their ankle or stuff like that. So, you know, do you want Kat Paris to be the one in the corner? Well, yes, because she's so technical and she can hang the ball, but no, in case somebody does try and, you know, whack her.
Speaking of nifty footwork, though, there, just toe taps it back to herself. Pushed around there just a little bit. Paris still holding on, 1-on-3. And finally, Upstate comes out of the scrum with it. Sanders trying to sell out and tap it off, but instead we go under 1:20 to play. And Paris just trying to effectively kill this game off and move on to another championship game.
And she's got 4 players on her.
There are several members of this team that have tasted a championship before, back in 2019. And under a minute to play separates themselves from another return trip. Kiernos with a nice little move.
When she had Stevens overlap, I thought for sure we might see a little back heel to her, but Kiernos once again very comfortable on the ball and able to kill time, and we've got less than 35 seconds left in this match.
And credit where it's due, USC Upstate just can't get the ball out of that far left corner. It has gone back there every single time and just have not been able to find a chance to get it out. Lily Short will throw it in, under 18 to play. As you see Coach Sarabi stalking the sidelines, knowing his team's on their way with 10 seconds. One last throw in. Radford gonna head it around, and time will expire. And Radford is back in the Big South Championship game for the first time since 2019. And a chance to be Big South champions once again, as USC Upstate, nothing to hang their head about here, as you see Coach Saber walking over to shake hands with Coach Sarabi, the 2022 Coach of the Year and